On a chilly December evening in Manhattan, the city that never sleeps was shaken to its core. Brian Thompson, the CEO of United Healthcare, one of the nation's largest health insurers, was found murdered in what police quickly labeled a targeted assassination. But who would commit such a calculated act, and why? The answers to these questions led authorities down a complex trail, one that ended with an unexpected suspect, Luigi Mangione.
United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson was killed.
Brian Thompson was a man at the pinnacle of power. As the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar corporation, his decisions impacted millions. To his colleagues, he was a strategic leader. To the public, he was a figurehead of modern healthcare. But while his public persona was one of professionalism and success, his untimely death unveiled a far darker undercurrent. What kind of enemies might a man of such stature have cultivated? And how did this lead to his violent demise?
CEO of United Healthcare. And welcome to the attendees of Reuters Total Health.
Investigators say they are building a stronger case against this suspect in the killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson.
Luigi Mangione, a 26-year-old engineer whose life seemed destined for greatness. A graduate of the prestigious University of Pennsylvania, Mangione was described as intelligent, ambitious, and quiet. Friends from his college years recall a man who was focused, driven, yet at times distant. But beneath this polished exterior lay an intricate web of secrets. His arrest in a small Pennsylvania town revealed clues that would leave even seasoned investigators stunned. It began with an arrest at a McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania. Mangione was apprehended carrying a loaded firearm, forged documents, and writings hinting at a deep resentment towards certain corporate entities. The discovery was startling: maps of Manhattan, detailed notes on Thompson's routine, and encrypted communications. Investigators were quick to connect him to the crime in New York. But what could have motivated a man like Mangione to commit such a heinous act?
Authorities say he had a gun and suppressor consistent with those used in the murder. He was also carrying multiple fraudulent IDs, including a New Jersey driver's license.
As authorities pieced together Mangione's life, they uncovered a troubling narrative. Social media posts, cryptic writings, and his movements in the weeks leading up to the assassination painted the picture of a man grappling with anger and frustration. These writings revealed a growing disillusionment with corporate power structures, particularly those involved in healthcare. Mangione's grievances hinted at a deeply personal motivation, but was this a calculated vendetta or the unraveling of a brilliant mind?
Mangione's fingerprints to prints lifted from a
Mangione's arrest was just the beginning. The legal battle that followed was fraught with twists and turns, as prosecutors worked to establish motive and intent. In court, the prosecution highlighted Mangione's detailed planning, presenting it as proof of premeditation. Meanwhile, his defense argued for mitigating circumstances, describing him as a young man overwhelmed by pressure and systemic injustice. The courtroom became a stage for a chilling drama, as the nation watched with bated breath.
If you're an American, you believe in the American criminal justice system, you have to presume to be innocent, and none of us would want anything other than that if that were us in those shoes, and so I'm glad he has some support.
Never once talked about violence. He was absolutely a not violent person, as far as I could tell.
Mangione was Gilman's 2016 valedictorian, an elite all-boys high school in Baltimore. He graduated from the University of Pennsylvania.
Experts weighed in on the implications of Thompson's death. Was this an isolated act of personal revenge, or did it expose deeper tensions in the corporate world? Analysts examined the psychological profile of the suspect, exploring how personal grievances can escalate into acts of violence. They debated whether this case highlights the pressures faced by young professionals or the consequences of unchecked corporate power. Could this tragedy have been prevented? Or was it an inevitable collision of personal anguish and institutional influence?
Mangione had his first hearing in Pennsylvania, and as he arrived to the courtroom, he was caught on camera shouting to reporters it's completely out of touch and an insult to the intelligence.
The evidence collected revealed striking details. A handwritten manifesto, detailing grievances against corporate greed, was found in Mangione's possession. Investigators uncovered emails sent to former colleagues, expressing frustration with what he called the machine of modern healthcare. It pointed to a broader discontent with the system, one that many Americans share but rarely act upon. Psychologists suggested this could have been a tipping point for Mangione, whose promising career was marred by personal setbacks. How did these circumstances culminate in such a catastrophic act?
A hearing on the legality of the suspect.
The murder sent shockwaves through the business world and beyond. Public reaction ranged from outrage to introspection. Was this an isolated tragedy, or a symptom of deeper societal issues? Many began to question the cost of corporate power and the mental toll on young professionals entering high-pressure industries. As debates raged in media outlets and online forums, one fact remained clear: this story resonated far beyond the corporate boardroom. It was a lens into the intersections of power, ambition, and humanity. The tragedy forced Americans to confront the balance between success and well-being, reigniting discussions about corporate responsibility and mental health.
By posting hit lists.
Mangione is facing charges for the ghost gun police say they found on him, as well as fake IDs. His defense attorney says he plans on pleading not guilty.
As the case unfolds, one thing is certain: the events of that December night will forever be etched in the annals of corporate and criminal history. Luigi Mangione's story serves as a stark reminder of how ambition, resentment, and opportunity can converge with devastating consequences. His fate now lies in the hands of the justice system, but the questions raised by his actions linger, demanding deeper reflection. How did a brilliant mind turn towards such destructive means? And what does this mean for a society where power and pressure collide so often?
Part is that, he was one of the smartest, one of the most compassionate, one of the most present people I knew, such a great listener, had natural, leadership by leading by example, and because people knew he was genuine. And I think part of what's so heartbreaking is knowing the potential he had, and to know that, now that's lost. He really had everything going for him. People loved him. He had a great, well-paying job. He was one of those people that I think we would look towards to help make and affect change in the right direction to help others. So I think that's part of what makes this so heartbreaking and so difficult to process. He really was among the best and the brightest that we have in his generation.
We asked Martin.
The case of Luigi Mangione leaves us with more questions than answers. What changes might prevent such tragedies in the future? How do we address the human cost of an increasingly pressurized world? As we ponder these questions, the importance of seeking balance, accountability, and understanding comes into sharp focus. Perhaps the most profound lesson lies in the power of empathy and the urgent need for systemic reform to ensure such tragedies do not repeat.
Authorities believe the attack was targeted due to Brian's role, and this theory is supported by shell casings found at the scene engraved with the words delay, deny, and depose. Now, a little background on Luigi, who again has been named the suspect. He's a graduate of University of Penn, an Ivy League school. He seems to come from a background of a wealthy family, and his LinkedIn reports that he's a data engineer, so overall a smart-looking guy who comes from a somewhat prestigious background. Now, how this all came about was Luigi was arrested after it was reported a McDonald's worker recognized him.
This is not just a story of crime, but a reflection on the fragility of human nature in the face of pressure and power. What drives a person to cross the line from discontent to destruction? Stay tuned as the investigation continues and the pursuit of justice unfolds. This is not just a story of crime, but a reflection on the fragility of human nature in the face of pressure and power. What drives a person to cross the line from discontent to destruction? Stay tuned as the investigation continues and the pursuit of justice unfolds. Thank you for watching. If you found this story thought-provoking, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more in-depth documentaries. Your support helps us uncover and share stories that matter. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your opinions. Do you think systemic pressures are a root cause of such incidents, or are these isolated cases driven by individual choices? Share your perspective and help us foster a meaningful discussion. Together, we can explore solutions to prevent tragedies like this from happening again. And remember, by supporting this channel, you're contributing to meaningful conversations and investigative storytelling. Until next time, stay informed, stay empathetic, and take care.